What is up, Ph.D? Good to see you again. Now, before I dive into the main topic for today, I just wanted to share with you some of the photos and video that I took at Swiss National Day, where my friends and I went to hang out the other night.
Hello. I am looking correct.
So you'll notice that this is a different place again. This is my apartment in Geneva, or rather in France, near CERN, where I'm working. I just came back this week, and I'm happy to be back to see my colleagues again and to work in the same time zone. So that's going to be fun. Now, last time I talked about how I decided to go to the International Conference on New Frontiers in Physics. Short story, I was invited by my experiment, Atlas, to go and give a talk on their behalf on something that I work on called the MET trigger. Now, I won't go into detail on what the MET trigger is for now. I'll make a video about that in the future, but what you just need to know is that the MET trigger is just one of the things that I work on, and I was invited to give a talk on it. Now, this conference is going to be held at a wonderful location in the middle of vacation season, so you can probably guess what that means. I have some funds from my scholarship and also from my college to do trips like this. However, it's always a good idea to apply for additional funding. 2 reasons. Number 1, the more funding you have, the more things you can go to, of course. And number 2, as a researcher, I'll always have to be talking about what I do, why it's important, and why it's worth investing in. So this scholarship application would be a good opportunity to practice that. So yeah, the conference has a limited number of scholarships available, and I tried to apply for that. They apparently needed some application letter from me, but they didn't really say what the criteria were for deciding who gets this scholarship, so I didn't really know what to write. For my first try, I wrote something super generic.
Dear conference organizers, I am a student at Oxford. I was invited by my experiment to give a talk on our MET trigger. This trigger is vital because blah. In my talk, I plan to discuss X, Y, and Z. This conference is going to cost X euros. I would be grateful for any support to cover the accommodation, which comprises the majority of the cost, and the conference fee.
Not my actual letter. So I sent my letter to some older students who have more experience in applying for funding, and they suggested that I talk about why I specifically should be given this scholarship. And that really is a good question. Why me? Why fund me? What makes me special?
I don't know.
Well, for starters, I can talk about how this conference will be a significant portion of my conference budget, especially given that it's held in a holiday destination in the peak of summer, so I could probably ask for a bit of financial sympathy there. But really, this applies probably to any student who wants to go there. So what makes me special?
You're the special.
Me? Yes.
A friend of mine suggested I say something like this.
I am software coordinator of the MET trigger, so this leadership role gives me expertise and authority to engage with the diverse community at the conference. The fact that I was invited by Atlas is recognition and evidence of my expertise and leadership.
Which I thought was a bit much. Now, what my friend suggested I say was true, but I didn't really feel humble to talk about myself in that way. Was I showing off? Moreover, I didn't really feel that it was that true. Do I really have expertise and leadership? I'm just a PhD student. I'm just me.
You're the most important, most talented, most interesting, and most extraordinary person in the universe.
I think perhaps my definition of being humble is a bit off. Surely it doesn't mean that I'm not allowed ever to say good things about myself. But it does mean telling the truth about my work and what I bring to the table. It means appreciating other people and the value that they bring. And I shouldn't say things about myself or about other people that are just going to make me go on an ego trip. Surely if someone asks me, why should I give money to you? Why is your work important? I should answer truthfully, well, my work is important because of this, and my experience in A, B, and C qualifies me to do this work and to see it through. Naively, I would hope that my work would just speak for itself and that people would give me money without me asking for it. But I guess there I'm really not being humble, because how could I possibly take it for granted that other people outside of the small group that I work with really understand what my work is and why it's important? If I want to draw attention to my work and I want to get funding for it, then of course I have to talk about it with other people and help them understand it, help them understand why it's important, its impact, and really, well, fight for the resources to do this work and to do it well. And so I rewrote my letter, incorporating some elements of what my friends said. I decided to be less shy about my qualifications and about the value of my work. I really tried to sell the idea of my talk and me giving it. It felt weird for sure, but this is necessary for me to get attention and funding for my work. Anyway, that's it for this week. I'll let you know how the scholarship application goes. But in the meantime, let me know in the comments, have you ever had to sell yourself for something? Maybe you were applying for a scholarship or a university or a job. Let me know. Did you feel as weirded out about selling yourself as I did? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to like and subscribe, of course, and I'll see you all next week.